Hi, everyone. My name is Lessa Kanani'opua Pelayo-Lozada, and I'm a past president of the American Library Association. Welcome to our So You Want to Be series about what it's really like to be an ALA member leader. Across this series of short videos, you'll get information about various leadership opportunities within ALA from the folks who have lived it, loved it, and continue to give back to the American Library Association. Thank you for joining us. Joining me today for So You Want to Be ALA President is Wanda Kay Brown, American Library Association President from 2019 to 2020, and Director of Library Services for the C.G. O'Kelly Library at Winston-Salem State University. Wanda was the first American Library Association president who was also a library director at one of the nation's historically Black colleges and universities. She has also served as president of the Black Caucus of the American Library Association from 2006 to 2008, and will be reprising the role of president for Black Caucus from 2024 to 2026. She's also served as president of the North Carolina Library Association from 2011 to 2013. With such a storied career to talk about, Wanda, let's get right into the questions. Can you tell us a bit about your path to leadership within ALA?
Well, actually, thank you, Lessa. I'm excited to be a participant in today's conversation. I actually joined ALA back in the 80s. I was in tech services. So my first introduction to ALA was through Alex. I was in I think it was creative services and tech services. That was the first group I was in, and I think I ended up chairing one of those groups. And then as I moved up in the library, I got more interested in the leadership thing. So I joined, I think it was called LAMS or whatever it was then. It's core now.
Llama.
But I joined, that's right. I joined that, and I was active in that in the human resources section, because that's, what my current role in libraries was at that time. So that's kind of my path to ALA. That's how I first got introduced, but I must admit, Black Caucus was extremely like on the radar at that time, because I kind of got introduced to those two at the same time, to ALA and to Black Caucus at the same time. And so they both impacted my career along the way.
Awesome. And for those out there, ALEX is the Association for Library Cataloging and Technical Services, and LLAMA is the Library Leadership and Management Association, which, as Wanda said, both combined to now be a part of CORE, who's one of our 8 divisions. So Wanda, what made you decide to serve ALA in the role as president?
I think it was because somebody believed in me. I mean, one of my colleagues at a neighboring HBCU, actually, her name was Vicki Coleman. She approached me and said, I'd like to nominate you to run for ALA president. And I thought, oh yeah, well, I could do that. I don't know how to say no, I think. But I don't think I really thought that I could win, but I was willing to give it a try. And so that's kind of what jumped it off for me, was just her asking me. And for somebody to believe in me enough to ask me, I just said, okay, I'll give it a try.
I think that's one of the keys for leadership, is having that someone who believes in you when even you think you may not be willing or able to do it, and to give you that little bit of a push. And I will say, right, for those out there too that don't know how to say no, I used to have a Post-it on my computer that said no when I became ALA president, because I had to stop saying yes to things, because you just don't have the time.
Yes.
Wanda, what resources helped you become prepared to serve as president?
Well, it was that same core group of volunteers. I had a great support team, my staff here at work, my former staff at Wake Forest. I pulled together people from NCLA, people I had met across the region, that were fairly close to North Carolina. And we met, strategized, came up with a platform. So that was, I think, the key to launching me, to helping me believe in myself, was that team of people who obviously believed in me enough that they contributed their time, their resources. I just had all kind of support from people, and it was wonderful. So that support is what I think fueled my campaign. And then people were telling me, why don't you try this? Why don't you do this? They helped me create buttons and pins. It was just an awesome experience when people come together, rally behind, a common cause. It's just kind of awesome. And then I guess you say from my past service that I really enjoy serving, right? So I enjoy giving back to the profession. I think that has given so much to me and so much to others. And I think that's one of the keys is when you care enough to give back, then people see it and they know you're passionate about it, and then they want to help you.
That servant leadership, I think, is something that I see in you all of the time. And I think it's probably really core to being ALA president also, whether or not all ALA presidents realize it. So in thinking about the different responsibilities of the role, what would you say are some of the primary roles and responsibilities of being ALA president?
Well, I think the primary role is to advocate for our profession. But closely aligned to that as first would be to advocate for the people, right? And for the association. So I thought that was my primary role, was to not, I didn't necessarily feel like I had to be the strategical thinker, because I had an executive board that was more than capable of strategizing and thinking. But I think that what you need is somebody that's passionate about the profession, about the association, and is passionate about moving that organization forward, seeing that association meets the needs of all the people, right? And having representatives that reflect the varying cultures that we have. So I saw my role as the role of an advocate, to be that person, to be the person who made sure that we were pulling things together, that those on the board were strategizing and helping to position ALA for success, for continued growth, for maximizing members' input. Long time ago did a presentation back in 2011 where I said the strength of associations is based upon what the members get. So members ask themselves, what have you done for me lately, right? And so that's why people pay to join an association, is because they believe in the mutual benefits, the mutual values in it. And so I say, as ALA president, and that's the core, that's what's at the top of your thinking, your strategizing, your saying, yes, I want to be ALA president. I think that's core.
Absolutely. And I think to have served under your leadership as president on the executive board as well, I really saw you trying to play into everybody's strengths, including all the members. And I really love that you said, our association is strong because of our members, and that you don't have to do every single thing. There are lots of people to support. And
Absolutely.
so, and thinking about that, what skills do you or did you find helpful in your role as a leader in libraries, but especially as ALA president?
As ALA president, I thought that it was most important that I listened. I wanted to hear what the members were saying. I wanted to hear what the ALA staff were saying. I wanted to hear what people were saying. And when I traveled, I wanted to hear what the members were saying. What do you feel? How do you feel about your day-to-day work? How do you feel about the association? Do you feel like we're meeting your needs? Do you see us as viable going forward? So that's, to me, was just sitting and listening and hearing and meeting people. I thought that was maybe primary on my focus, on my radar. And it may have been the time that I was president, it was right around the COVID time. And I did get to do a lot of traveling. I think maybe when the year before, maybe the fall before or something. I can't remember now, it's getting fuzzy. But I know that the most important thing was meeting the members and hearing their stories and seeing life from another side. In academics, we tend to only see the academic side sometimes. And I've always been envious of public libraries because I think those people somehow or another have the core of the community at heart. And so hearing those stories and seeing, you know, representatives from all the library types, school libraries and public libraries, community colleges, all of us coming together, I think that that's the real strength of it. And so I think listening was core. I do.
And you did a great job of it because you also started the ALA town halls during COVID when we were all stuck at home and didn't know what was happening and who to turn to. And that listening ear, I think, helped get a lot of us through it. So thank you for starting that series. And as we're looking forward, what advice do you have for members that may want to become ALA president in the future?
I think, first of all, I want someone who is passionate about the work we do, our profession. If you're passionate about what you do, and then you're passionate about the people who get it done, right? And the organization that supports, pulls those two things together, then I think you'll be a great ALA president. And I know that it doesn't take, people think, oh, I haven't had the experience to do that. But ALA has a superb executive board that represents all those library types and represents different cultures, different voices, different ways of thinking. They're already at the table. So your job is just to come in and listen to them and listen and see where you can maybe offer advice or where you can strategize, though that doesn't necessarily mean I've got to be the strategic thinker. I think most important is to have someone who cares, because if you care enough about the association, about the work we do, the people that do it, then you're going to bring what I call your heart to the work, right? And when you bring your heart to what you do and what you do, it shows, and people will naturally want to join. They will naturally want to be a part of something because they see themselves in it. They see themselves in their work. They see themselves in their play. They see themselves. So when they see themselves, then they believe that they can do. And I
Amen.
believe, I believe you can do it. So she's saying amen, making me think I'm preaching, but I'm not.
Well, to my heart anyway, because I think, one of the things about being ALA president too, right, is it's a volunteer position. Like, folks think that maybe we get an extra paycheck, but you were still a library director when you were ALA president. I was still an adult services assistant manager when I was ALA president. So like that passion gets you through sometimes too, when, you're traveling all around the country and listening to everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I will give a shout out to our ALA staff also, who helped definitely get us ready to be president and make sure we are where we're supposed to be and saying the things we planned on saying and keeping our heads straight. So it's a real journey that 3-year period.
And I would say that's probably what I learned the most was, you tend to come to ALA all the time and you go to your session, you go back to your hotel and you go out to eat with friends and you feel really good. And here are these people that have worked so many months before the conference, right? They're working at the conference. They work every day. So that was a huge learning curve for me, but I enjoyed that too, because I attended like maybe 2 staff days at ALA. It was just so rewarding to meet those people who make ALA run efficiently as it does. So that's, I would say, is one of the perks of being ALA president, is to get to see behind the scenes and what it takes to have an organization that's constantly changing, just as our profession is. It's constantly changing. And you got to have the right people who just kind of keep that change going. And I know I'm talking about ALA president, but I want to throw a plug in for this year's programming at San Diego was positively the best I've seen in many, many years. No matter what culture you was, you could find yourself in a speaker.
Here, here. There are so many rewarding things, I think, to be of service to the profession and to be of service to our communities, right? Like including each other, to uplift each other and make sure that we are seen and have each other be seen in our spaces. What other things have you found to be most rewarding by serving ALA?
For sure, it was meeting the people. I think it was the people that made the difference. It was and it was the other cultures I got to visit. I did, that is a nice perk. I went to, let's see, China. I went to Greece. I went to Guadalajara. So, there's the perks of nice travel, but it was work too. And if you're working for something you believe in, then even though you're exhausted, even though you're tired, you still are going to get up and go. It's like cooking breakfast for your family. You're tired, you're exhausted, but you're going to do it. And then at the table, while you're all eating, you feel comfort, right? And so that's kind of like how you feel at the ALA table. You're just going to feel like, whew, it's hard work, but what a good feeling it is when it all comes together. So it's quite rewarding.
That is a perfect note for us to end on today, Wanda. Thank you so much for joining us for our series. So You Want to Be ALA President. See you next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.